Tesla truck is not silver.
Tesla truck. I mean, we are all over the place.
The Cyber Beast.
Yeah.
Well, it was a fast car. Yeah. It's a matte black down to a matte purple, and so it has some purple accents to it.
Yeah.
Is that more off road or did you? I don't know.
Oh no, it pretty much stays in the garage because it's electric.
You're listening to My Supercar World, a Post Oak Motor Cars production from Houston, Texas.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another edition of My Supercar World. Diane Kaplan here, along with my co-host, Lonny Souza.
Hi, everybody. And today we have a guest that aren't just collectors. They're creators of a dream garage. Bill and Colleen Ellison have turned passion into portfolio of powerful personal machines. And they're bringing one of their own in studio today.
So tell me, Bill, Colleen, introduce yourselves. We know everything about you, but tell the world.
Go ahead, Bill.
Well, I'm Bill Ellison and my wife, Colleen Ellison. And after 26 lovely years of marriage, we have gotten a pretty decent car collection that we've started. And we're just basically on the beginning of it over about the past 15 years. And our amazing garage that we're she always gets on me because I don't call it the right thing. What's it called?
The carriage house.
It's the carriage house.
Yes.
We're going to go back into the carriage house in a minute. I want to hear about this.
We'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
But yeah, I never do call it correctly. Colleen?
Well, there's cars in there, so that makes sense. Right? But it's on a castle property, so it had to have a fancy name. And so, that's where we came up with the carriage house.
And we'll get to the castle later, too.
Gosh.
So
Okay.
Tell me a little bit about what you brought here. This is just a couple of examples of some of your collection.
We have several cars, and a couple of our special cars that we have is behind me is our 1989 Lamborghini Countach.
Wow.
And it's a very, very special car. It's an iconic car. It's a 25th anniversary, as well as just something that is, as anybody that's in the Gen X or just really anybody that's into cars, they think of this car as a truly, truly magnificent car. It's a showstopper. Everything about it is just absolutely amazing.
Right.
I mean, the Countach is one of the cars that when I was growing up and you had your posters on your doors, that was like the most iconic poster car like ever, right? Next to the Budweiser posters, right?
So interesting enough, there was the majority of all the cars that were done back then were named after Spanish fighting bulls, and a lot of people don't know it, but Countach was like a word that's when somebody first started, they said Countach, and it was like unexplainable, like, oh my God. And there's so much emotion to it that it wasn't something that could be described. And so it's an Italian word that just really means kind of like, oh my God. And it's not a famous fighting bull or anything else. And so, when the car was first seen, it was, oh my God, wow, what is that kind of a situation?
Wow. Okay. So I did read that story. So this was the first non-fighting bull named car, right?
Correct.
So what were the other Lamborghinis back then that were named after bulls?
Well, you've got the Mura, you've got the Diablo. I mean, just everything that you've got. You got the Murcielago, everything. All of the other cars are named after some famous Spanish fighting bull.
Interesting. I mean, I kind of should have known that from the car business, but I didn't learn that until recently. So,
well, you deal with so many different broad spectrum, from the multi-million and billion-dollar cars all the way down to whatever that you might sell in the resale market.
Yeah.
So there's a lot for you to know about that we specialize. We specialize in several different ones, but a lot smaller than what you guys do.
Oh yeah, but that's what this show's for.
Right. And, a lot of people know you for your large Lamborghini collections and your supercars and stuff, but they also, what some people don't know is you're also into Rolls Royce as well. So Colleen, do you want to tell me about your beautiful creation?
Yeah, so we also brought the Spectre here, and it was actually our first electric car. We were dabbling at the time with Tesla and Rolls-Royce, and actually Rolls-Royce beat Tesla to delivering their car before the Cyber Beast. So that was exciting, but it was quite an experience. So everything was customized.
Yeah, it was totally bespoke.
Yes.
And give me the inspiration behind it, because I remember the delivery day and you actually brought something with you.
Yeah, so we were inspired by, we have peacocks, quite a little coupe of peacocks. And the purple peacock is a very unique one. Indigo is what people mostly know, and
Right.
sometimes the white one. But we took all inspiration from that feather of a purple peacock, which is so unique.
It is. It's
And
gorgeous.
good news is we had somebody at Rolls-Royce who let us be a little more daring than I probably would have been myself.
Right.
What an experience it was. And so we
They're the
tapped
best
all
at that.
kinds of that color there to just make it look like a really just beautiful masterpiece.
Oh my God. No, she turned out so pretty. I love that color.
Now you got to do that build. You went to London with us.
Yes.
Favorite memories.
Twice.
Twice.
Twice to
Yeah,
London with
you
you guys.
did.
Yeah, the beautiful
Just can't
piece
get
about-
enough of us.
Yeah, the beautiful piece about that for us was just great memories of first time. It was a lot of firsts for us. The first time a dealer had ever taken us out of the country for a reveal, and for us to be on a list. It was the first time we were on a short list of reveals of a car that had not been revealed to the public yet. And of course, we met some amazing people that you put together. So we got to be with other car people outside of the United States of America. We got to meet the president. We got to wear those really cool lab jackets.
I remember that.
I wanted to take home with me, but Rolls-Royce said they had
They
to
were,
stay.
they were purple, and she literally tried to walk out with one. So
We tried.
Yeah, we tried. There's
Could
some,
make that happen.
yeah,
We did. We tried.
we
I
did- we
mean,
did
Colleen
try.
and I were trying.
Yeah, we
did.
really did try. But that was, and then London, that was a first for us too, to actually spend time in London. And you guys
Yeah.
showed us London in the most beautiful way.
It's fun.
First time to have a race car driver drive us in a Rolls Royce. There was a lot of firsts on that trip.
That was a wonderful trip. Of
That
course,
was
that's
it.
one of two now of hopefully many that will be able to go on in the future. Now, have you been able to go to any other factories since then, like Lamborghini or?
we've been to Lamborghini several times, and we've been to Ferrari. So those are the ones that we've been to, right? We haven't been anywhere else. So those are the three that we've been to. Rolls-Royce was hands down was the most. It was the nicest experience, overall. Lamborghini is an amazing experience. It's a truly amazing experience. But as far as that next level from that true luxury experience, and they're two different experiences, right?
Yeah.
One's Fast and Furious, and one is just kind of I'm being taken care of.
Right.
So and quite honestly, a lot of times I would much rather be in one of my Rolls Royces in comfort and luxury than in one of the sports cars. It's so much more comfortable.
Yeah. Would you mind sharing with us like the kind of an idea of what your collection is like? Which Rolls Royces do you have? Which Lamborghinis do you have? And then
So we've got
Well,
started.
the ones that I know about, right?
That's a
Pretty
good.
sure
That's a good
I
answer.
find out
believe
things
that.
like, oh, it's at the and okay.
Yeah,
I didn't even know
it
we
is
had
funny
that car.
because I will either mention to her that I'm looking at something, and which basically in my terms means I already bought it, kind of, and it'll be that I swear I told you about this. No, and I've never seen it, and so
I
then
was asking what color is it, right?
yeah, that's where we
What color
start.
is it?
Right.
But in the Rolls Royce lineup, we have basically the full lineup of cars that Rolls Royce has, not just necessarily in modern cars. So we have a 1929 Rolls Royce Phantom P1. It's a one-of-one car in the world. It was ordered by a gentleman at a specific length, and because it was stretched a little further, it made it a one-of-one car in the bespoke manner. And his name happened to be William as well. And then we have a Rolls-Royce Wraith, and then we have the Spectre, as we talked about, and then we have the Ghost, and then we have a Cullinan. So we've got basically the full lineup in some fashion or form of everything that Rolls-Royce has to offer. We just don't have a modern Phantom
right.
yet.
Yeah.
Yet.
Yeah.
We've talked about it though.
Well, we have. As a matter of fact, we had initially started speccing one out whenever the Spectre was coming out.
Right.
And so we changed to the Spectre, and we said, let's wait until we have the castle finished, and then that'll be a good car to bring at the castle.
Right.
Nice.
So, I mean, and either one or you both can answer this. What is like the first car that really resonated with you, that really spoke to you? Like, how long ago was that, and what was it?
Yeah, I feel like it was my first car. Like, you're a teenager, you get your first car, it's something you take pride in. And so for me, it was a Datsun 240Z.
Ooh.
And it was, we grew up, middle class family. My dad was hardworking in construction, and my mom was running a business, and so that was the one that they could afford. So it was my favorite car because it was my first car, but it had some issues. But I learned to be I learned a lot about cars because it had a crack block. And so in order to get it back and forth to school, I would carry a jug of water in the car.
my God.
And I'd get to school and I'd fill it up and I'd leave and I'd come home and I'd fill it up again. So I got to learn a little bit about cars.
She didn't have nails like this back then.
Yeah. So that car, I also got to customize my car for the first time. It was
Right.
my first car.
Wait, hold on. Did you put dice in the mirror?
Didn't have dice.
What about
But
louvers?
I did.
Remember back in the day, louvers?
I added. It was when the stereos were coming out with the removable faceplate. Now the car itself wasn't really worth much.
Right.
It was probably $1,000 car, but that stereo was like $800.
Right.
And you would take the faceplate, hoping that no one was going to steal your stereo.
I remember those days. Oh my God.
So you spent money on the cosmetic part of the car, but you still had a
Exactly.
cracked block.
That's exactly. You just learned something about the crack block. I think we just couldn't afford to replace it at the time, but for me, that was.
That was
That's the one that got you into cars, right? Like the first one that got you into cars.
Yeah, I love it.
What about you, Bill?
Well, I've always been a sports car guy. I mean, just, what gets boys in trouble? There's two things: gas fumes and perfume. Those are basically the two things that get little
Okay,
boys in
I've
trouble.
never heard that. That's hilarious.
Oh, that's exactly what from a 4-year-old little boy to a 98-year-old man. That's what gets them in trouble. So, fast cars from a full little boy. What are little boys doing? Vroom, 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 right? In a little car is what they're doing.
Right.
So, sports cars has been something that I've always liked. Some of my first cars were I had a '69 Chevelle Super Sport. I had a '65 little red Mustang, little secretary car that had the inline six in it. And I had a 78 280Z. I had a F-150 truck. There was a short wheelbase. I had a variety of more sporty cars whenever I was younger. Now, kind of like what Colleen's talking about, having to put the jug of water into the radiator just to get 14 miles from her old house to the school. I would have to work almost every single night. I'd have to work on whatever car that I had just to get to school or to work the next day.
Oh, wow.
So the same thing. And, yes, I had the same fingernails back then. They were just a lot dirtier. But there was always the love, the desire, the dream, right? That dream, the poster on the wall. When I was about 20 or 21, it was the first time that I saw a Lamborghini Countach up close. And I was out in California. I used to travel around in my young 20s setting up computer systems for a company. And I went into a dealership that had multiple cars and had a bunch of my favorites in there. And one of them happened to be a red Countach. And this was in probably about 92 or 93.
Okay.
And I have a picture somewhere of me beside that car.
We need to find that picture.
We have it somewhere. We have it digital electronically, and but it was red, not white. We have an 89 and a 90 Countach,
Right.
and they're both white. But so that was always that dream, that goal, that wow factor, right? But it happened to be that the first supercar that I bought was a Ferrari. To me, a Ferrari is just an absolute, it's a beautiful creation. It's a beautiful woman. It's got beautiful lines. Lamborghini is tough, self-made. About 95% of the guys who I know, the people that we know, are self-made. And that is really what the epitome of Lamborghini is all about. It's put your boots on, get up, go to work the next day, work on 100 hours a week, whatever it might be. But literally, virtually every Lamborghini owner that I know are self-made and they're business owners, which is very, very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't know about the Ferrari either.
Matter of fact, as a matter of fact, she didn't. she knew I was looking. She knew I was looking, and I left one day, and I came back, and I drove in. This is probably one of the funniest stories because she hated the car from the time she
Which
saw
model
it.
was it?
It was a red 430 Spider.
Okay.
Red on tan. And I drove up in the driveway and I walked in. I said, I got it. I finally got my Ferrari. Look, I'm somebody. She goes over, she looks out the blinds and she goes, looks like a piece of metal with 4 wheels, puts the blinds down and goes back to whatever it was that she was doing at the time. And of course, I'm just crushed, right? I'm thinking, okay, look, I've made it to a level, right? She could care less. I mean, honestly, and I was, I don't want to say truly crushed, but it was like, kind of hurt my feelings a little bit. But since then, we were able to find what Colleen's true passion was.
Yeah.
And so about a little over a year later, I'd had a wreck in that Ferrari, and I was down for a little over a year with a broken leg, and then we happened to be in Newport Beach, California, and we went to the Ferrari dealership, and we were completely snubbed. Which, that's just kind of the way that things were. This was 12, 13 years ago. And so instead we walked just down the road to the Lamborghini dealership. Completely different vibe. Hey, come on in. Let's go start. This is Jeremy Hagan, the salesperson that was there back in the time. Come on, let's go start some cars. You're gonna love this. We're gonna have such a great time. And it was a complete different dynamic.
Right.
And we ended up buying a car from him, Colleen's first Lamborghini. It was a little 2014 Gallardo Spider, kind of like a Nera edition, which had the white interior, white seats with black bolsters in it. So that was her first Lamborghini that we bought for her.
Yeah. I remember that we walked into one of the dealerships even before that. And it got explained to us, like the passion behind Lamborghini. And I think that's what stuck with me, a story. Is there a story? Is there an experience? I mean.
You do. You always resonate with that. You like stories.
It's got to be a story or experience. Otherwise, why do it? And so it's probably why the Ferrari wasn't that exciting to me, because it was just he rolled up in a car and there was no story behind it or any excitement. I'm not a fan of red, so that never worked for me. But purple, purple will do that.
Yeah,
so,
purple's just color.
Yeah. But the story of Lamborghini it was a great story of like working hard and achieving something. And I felt like that just is us.
Well, I was going to say that goes hand in hand with who you are. You guys are self-made. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your business and kind of what you've done to be able to get to this level, to be able to have such a beautiful collection of cars?
I always say I'm the dumbest guy in the room, right? Hire way smarter people to do their job, and it's their job to do all the heavy lifting to turn around and makes me look good. And then I take all the credit. So that's, we've been able, we've done, all kidding aside, Colleen and I have done very well in building businesses, continuing those businesses. And then most recently, we had a home building company that we sold to D.R. Horton, the largest home builder in the United States. And they bought our home building company. And then we continue to do the land development part of it. So we go in and we take a raw piece of land and we knock the trees down. We put the streets in. We put the underground utilities. We build the neighborhood and all the infrastructure surrounding that. And then after that, then we sell the lots to builders, and then they turn around and they build the actual vertical or the actual house on top of the land that we turn around that we put together.
Yeah, and it's all about a dream and inspiration.
Right.
Even with the home building company, even with the development company, we take a lot of time to think through, if someone was living here, what is their pride and ownership from as soon as they pass those gates? Like, what does the monument look like? What do the streets look like? Where will their kids play? Where will the memories be made? And so we're big storytellers, and so we still get to do that. And we were able to do that with home building as well, and just help people, inspire them, which the cars have allowed us to do. I mean, that's been probably the best part, is that we can still intersect those two worlds of, just like Lamborghini was able to encourage people to dream big and be an owner of tractors, and then still own a car company that he ended up selling. We've kind of followed some of that same path that we use those cars to inspire people to get to where, I mean, we're in no way at the same level of most people, but we've gotten to a level just by constantly being inspired by other people. And so we just hope to do that same thing with the cars.
What I think is so inspirational is that y'all sold your company. You could have easily, if you wanted to, retired, but you decide, nope, we need to start another company and I don't know. I think that's one of the things I love about y'all most, is that y'all just are not going to stop.
Yeah.
You just don't.
Bill says we're just going to get old and
keep working.
Keep working.
get old.
We started the development company before we sold the home building company. So we were running both companies. and building the house and everything, you know. So we had a lot of things, and we both work about 100 hours a week apiece. And we still do today. Yes, we very easily could have said, okay, we're just going to set everything aside and we're just going to go, you know, and just relax. We couldn't do that. There is no possible way that we could just sit around, you know, and I don't know what retired people do. Effectively, you know, I'm 54. I've been working since I was 13, but you call it 30 years, or more than 30 years, then if I live till 85 or 90, I'm halfway there. I still got another 30 plus years. What am I going to do?
I know.
I'm going to get old, fat, and die. That's what I'm going to do. So I might as well just keep on working. And we still today, we work. We may not be in the office and you know, physically grabbing a shovel or something, but we're from a mental standpoint, you know, we're making decisions and doing things and continue on email, continue on calls, you know, continue to looking for new opportunities and so forth.
Right. Well, someone has to create the vision. Somebody has to create the opportunities, right? Because now you have your employees that you want to see.
Absolutely.
Become successful as well, right? And so now I admire you guys for that, and also you're very philanthropic as well. I know you guys you support a few different charities, but you do have particular ones that you constantly are engaged with. Which ones are those? Do you want to talk about it?
So we adopted our 3 children out of foster care. So we're really passionate about helping children in foster care see that their circumstances are temporary and that they still have, to Bill's point, like a whole life ahead of them that they can create for themselves. And so we support a lot of the children ministries through the church or just through ones that are publicly known. We're big on the kids.
Well, you know, we see it and we admire it, and thank you guys. And of course, you know, anything we can do to support you in the future, when you're supporting those charities, just let us know. We want to be there for you.
Yeah.
We appreciate that.
So what I do love also is you said it just a little while ago, how you intertwine your collection with your kind of your work and development and charities. And, you know, it's interesting because I know people who take the other view on that and kind of hide it and don't want to show what they have, right, when they're engaging with the rest of the world. But you're doing it from an inspirational perspective. You're trying to show people that, hey, look, we've done this, we're self-made, you can do this too, kind of deal, right? That's what I'm assuming.
So yes. So, you know, my background is we were homeless when I was 8, 9 years old. We literally lived in an abandoned motel, stealing power from a neighbor to run a refrigerator and a couple lights. So I've been in foster care. You know, I've been in jail. You know, I mean, there's been every bed these kids have slept in. I've been there and done that. And look at where we are today.
Right.
It obviously takes the right partner. I wasn't like this, you know, my entire life. You know, without Colleen basically propping me up, you know, then I would never in the wildest imagination be where I am today if it hadn't been for her. But if we can inspire kids to get out of the mindset of they're stuck in the trailer park, they're stuck in the whatever situation, they're stuck, or this is just a terrible thing that they're going to always be in that lifestyle. If we can help them to understand that there is the possibility to break the chain, but you're not going to sit back on your laurels and do it. Right. It's going to take 100 hours a week. So I give speeches and I tell people all the time, just seeing somebody on the at Starbucks.
Right.
You know, oh yeah, how do I get to it? Okay, well, what are you doing today? Well, I'm going to my 8 to 5, and you know, then I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna play video games. I'm like, well, what are you doing from 6 till 10, 11 o'clock at night? Oh, well, you know, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do, you know, a bunch of nonsense. I'm like, well, why don't you just go get a second job? Oh, well, and what are you doing on the weekend? Oh no, I'm gonna go with my buddies and I'm gonna go to the bar and I'm gonna do this and go get a third job. That's what I did. Right. So I went to school in the morning from 7 till noon, 7:30 till 11:30, whatever it was. I worked at IBM in the afternoon from 1 till 5 o'clock at night. I drove back from Clear Lake to Alvin and then worked at Monterey House, a Mexican restaurant, from 10 till 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night. And then on the weekends, whenever I wasn't working at the Mexican restaurant, pulling shifts there, then I was delivering pizzas for Domino's.
Oh my God.
So I was working 7 days a week. I moved out when I was 16 and never looked back. And that's what it takes. I'm not saying to move out at 16. Right. What I'm saying is that I did whatever it took for me to continue and never to have to look back, that a lot of people are not willing to give up that free time, then they don't want it bad enough.
Right.
If they want it bad enough, ask any entrepreneur that started from the ground up, and I'm going to say any Lamborghini owner, and ask any of those guys. Got a really good friend of mine, his name's Darren, and he started a roofing company with $10 in his pocket. And now he's one of the biggest guys in all of Houston. And so he came here on a wing and a prayer from Louisiana and started up, and then just, I mean, it took him, he was literally toting shingles, for another company. And so it can be done. You just have to give up everything else during that time.
Right. No, I agree 100%. I mean, the youth in today needs inspiration, needs guidance, needs somebody who's been there, right? To say, no, there is a pathway, and this is how it may not be the exact path that I took, but it's certainly somewhere in between what you're doing and what I did, right?
Right.
So,
And Colleen was doing the same thing at 15 years old. Her mother was driving her around and telling about the newspaper stuff and everything. I mean, you were working until 2:00 in the morning at 16 years old.
Yeah. Lonnie, I think you're onto something there, that what I'm seeing a lot with the youth is everybody's trying to be the same person.
Exactly.
They're trying to do the same TikTok, the same way, the same dance, the same way. But God didn't create us that way.
Right.
He gave us all something incredibly unique. And it's really about just being dialed into that. If you're dialed into your talents, the things you're really, really good at, and you just take a step, just faithfully take steps and steps and steps. My journey's a little different than Bill's journey. And I just knew that I wanted to be in some level of advertising. I wanted to be in radio. That was a big thing then. I thought, well, I'll get into a class, journalism, and I'll get me into radio. Well, as we all know what happened to newspapers.
Right.
They pretty much don't exist, right? The internet replaced them. But I took that path towards the internet and started working for Realtor.com's new home division and learned how to sell advertising and make websites. They didn't exist. 3-page websites were like a thing.
Right.
But I just kept stepping. And then, if you have something that you're just going to hold on to, is some people pray for like what that thing that they want. But what they should be praying for is close the door I'm not supposed to walk through anymore. And I can say my journey looked a lot like that. It looked like there were doors I just could not walk through. I had to keep moving forward. And so I probably handle things a little more causely than Bill does. You probably notice by our different
Thank God.
Way more cautious.
you guys balance each other.
Yeah, exactly.
But those doors had to shut. I'm too loyal. So those doors had to shut. The newspaper, the Houston Chronicle, had to buy the Houston Post, so I didn't have a job.
Right.
So I had to go look for that next step. Then Realtor.com sold their new home division, and that wasn't a path I was going to continue to take. So I got into software, but always stayed in tech. But that's my journey, and your journey's different, and your journey's different, your journey's. We're all sitting here with like-minded ideas and cars and things like that, but each individual person, if they could just get tapped into, stop being a copy of someone else, like find your unique talent. And that's the inspiration I know that we also want to give out to the youth is you're all very unique. And sometimes you can see that even in your employees, right? Like you can see that they're on this path, but boy, they'd be so much better if they maybe took this path, right? And as good leaders, if we can direct them in that path, we always say at the front desk, that front desk person starts in a role at our company, but that's not where they end up.
Right.
We really start to see the things
sure.
about them that are unique and the direction that they should go within the company. Now, has it been that there's some people who just didn't fit to get to that next level?
Sure.
Few. We like to find people's core talents and then just really inspire them for maybe that next role in their life that they're not even brave enough for. Bill's very brave. I mean, you can hear it. You can hear it in his presentation. He's brave, and he'll continue. He's our visionary at our company. I'm the integrator. So he has the vision, and then me and staff figure out like how we're going to do this. And it's always possible, but sometimes you need that person to light that fire. And I think we hope
And
that
then
we
run
do
away.
that. And then run away. We hope that we're doing that.
No, I mean, that's how Lonny is with our team. I mean, he's comes in with big ideas, and then it's up to me. I'm like, okay, Alex, Lizzie, how are we going to pull this one off? Okay, we got it. Okay, and we just make it happen, but you need that balance.
That's why my job's easy.
Yeah. But too, I mean, and Lonny and I, we recognize that, especially with our receptionists. We see a talent in somebody, and I'm like, okay, I think this person's got a natural knack for this. Do you mind if I help guide him this way? Or he'll say, find somebody and like, this person's really good at this. You do that all the time.
Right. I mean, and Colleen, well said with everything you just said. And then I love the closing the right doors and praying for the right path. Right. But yeah, that's exactly what people need to understand is look at how many different things you guys have done to get to where you're at, right? Different roles. And so I've got kids that are going to college, or I'm gonna have 3 in college here in a month now. And, you know, they're scared of what they're going to end up doing in life. Or am I doing the right major? Is this the right one for me? When they're thinking too far ahead, right? It's first, let's get the education, right? Have a general idea of where you want to go, but know that you're going to have some audibles along the way, both in school and in work. Your career may start out in one area and may end up in another, but that's part of growth. That's part of learning, right? And you're right in that. And us being leaders, we have to really. I think our job is even harder now because the next generation's up to us to guide and put them on the right path so that they can take the reins and do it for the generation after them, right? So deep stuff.
Yeah, it definitely is.
It definitely can get deep,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's switch gears a little bit and kind of we can thread what we just talked about into this next subject, the castle.
Yes.
You're building the castle for a lot of different reasons I've heard you say over the last couple of years. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what it is, what the inspiration is for behind it, and when can we see it?
Yeah. We love that.
Well,
we both have different ideas. On how to start. Yeah.
Just the real quick piece of it is who doesn't want to build their queen a castle?
Oh, I've
just been very fortunate to be able to actually do so. And so, you know, for the reasons behind it, there are very, like as you said, there's a variety of reasons, but we do have some particular reasons other than, you know, me trying to impress my wife daily. After 27 years, we've known each other for 30. If she had said yes the first time I asked her out, we'd be celebrating 29 years right now instead of 26.
Oh, wow.
3 years. 3 years I asked her out. She said no every single time.
That's hilarious.
And then finally I had a business function to go to that I invited her to, and she said yes because it was business.
Safe.
Yeah.
We didn't safe route.
She's like, okay.
We didn't spend any time apart after that. 3 months later, we were engaged. A total of 10 months later, we were married.
Aww.
And that was 26 years ago this October.
Well, congrats.
Yeah, and well, I mean, that takes us to our journey, right? So our journey was we experienced fertility problems, and so we just felt led to go the foster to adopt route. We felt led because everybody was telling us to do it in different ways and different voices, and so we did that. And when our children were in foster care, we had this great idea of let's take the kids to Disney. And there were limitations to that because they were in foster care. And so you couldn't leave the county without permission. And so we thought, wow, there are going to be kids who are in foster care, may even age out and never get to leave their county because they have to get permission. And so what if Montgomery County happens to be one of the largest counties in the state of Texas who have children in foster care? So we thought, well, what if we brought not Disney exactly, but what if we brought a castle to them? What if we brought some old world to them so they'd know that there are places they could explore outside of the county? And so then we toured Ireland and Scotland and England. In fact, even the trip when we went to London with you all, we started at the most northern part of England and then met you guys in the south, of course. But we saw 14 castles along the way. And it was a beautiful experience on that trip. And so we thought, well, let's just take some of these really cool things and bring them here to Montgomery County. And we love what medieval castles represent.
Right.
So you want to talk about that?
So castles are all about rebuilding. And so the Catholics lived in the castle, and then the Protestants came in, they burned them out, and they rebuilt the castle. And then the Methodists came in, they burned them out, and then they rebuilt the castle. So castles were all about rebuilding. And, you know, our castle, when we started it was the first Christmas we really started progressing, pushing forward on that we were going to build a castle. We got invited to a Christmas event through CPS and through the foster care because we had just gotten our children on December 13th. And they invited us. They said, hey, can you guys come to this Christmas thing that we're going to have? It's all the CPS kids, the Child Protective Services kids from around the area are all going to come to a location, and they get free gifts and things, right? People bring and they donate and everything else. We went to this, and it was in an inner city school, 8-foot ceilings, chain link fence with razor wire on top of it. It was like a prison. And literally, kids don't know this, but something like that, go walk into a place like that,
Right.
and it affects them, but they don't know it. Right, subliminally, that will take a measure, and so now imagine instead of taking those kids to that location, now what would those kids look like and the smiles on their face and everything if we brought them to a castle for Christmas?
Right.
And so that's one of the things, and this has been 12 or 13 years in the making now, so it's been quite some time that we're passionate about it. We traveled, we looked at all kinds of different castles, and then, here we are about to start.
It's getting close, right?
Yeah.
So we're sharing pictures as we talk about.
Well,
this,
and it's got
right?
its own Instagram.
So, and we'll share your Instagram handle on it. When is it going to be complete?
Well, Bill invited Arrow Ministries in. Another surprise to me. That is great. It's a great surprise, just because I feel like Bill's done a lot of the heavy work on it, and so now it's my time to get it finished, to get it. Everything structurally is there. Now we've got to get all the insides done. And we keep saying at the end of the year, and you did have Arrow there, and you said we want to do Christmas this year for the kids at the castle. We want that to be the very first event. I think just logistically, they're going to have a hard time doing it. So we plan to move in at the end of the year, and then plan to have our first event with the kids around Easter time. Actually,
Okay.
I think that's another great moment for kids to be tied into what the real meaning of the season is,
Right.
and still have a place to enjoy maybe a very large Easter egg or scavenger hunt.
Oh my
Wow.
God, that's going to be
You've got
cool.
Animals there now too, right?
Yeah.
We have a lot of animals there. We have a lot of animals there. We have about 80 chickens, 40 ducks, 25 peacocks.
25
They
peacocks.
keep reproducing. It's
Well,
a
we
lovely place.
we have 16.
What are we
and
going to do?
We have 16 pinned in our aviary right now. And then we have 9 more babies that we've incubated this year and that we're raising at our house. And so then we've got
A zebra and a kangaroo.
Well, we have 4 horses, a zebra, a couple of kangaroos, and 5 dogs.
Yeah, we've got the cane courses.
Connie horses.
Yeah.
We got the blue healers.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Cats.
Oh, and
Cats.
not a partridge in a pear tree, but a macaw parrot.
Wow.
Of course.
Now, I've seen you on Instagram messing around with these kangaroos. We don't want you to be a news story.
No, all that was in fun and in jest. Joey, he and I are really good friends. He's a big puppy. That's what he is. But when he stands
strong,
up,
though.
he's over 6 foot tall. So he's well height over me from whenever he actually stands up. And so I know I go in, I kind of squat down a little bit and I pet him like a dog. I mean, just pet him, pat him and stuff, and he's really cool. And Jenny, his girlfriend, is with baby right now. So we're hoping, she had one last year, but it didn't make it. And so we're hoping that the baby makes it this year. So this will be her second one. She's young. She's only about 3 years old.
Wow.
Nice. Very cool. Well, I want to kind of switch gears back to the cars because you know me, I'm a car freak.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So whenever your collection, with your business and your, being such awesome entrepreneurs and stuff, do you view your collection as more as an investment or is it more emotional? Like,
no, it's more emotional. We're not really looking. I mean, we have a nice collection of cars. That'll grow over time. I keep getting told stop buying cars so we can finish the house. But we have a supercar addiction,
Right.
and so we both very much enjoy. As a matter of fact, when oftentimes when we go on dates, we'll take 2 Lamborghinis because we still date. We date quite often. which is really cool and really fun. And we take 2 cars, and I call it flirting because I'm chasing her down the freeway. But we don't look at it so much as from the monetary standpoint of it. More, we like this, and that's why we have it.
And so you
it's
keep
more
them.
artsy, you know.
Right.
Yeah, we keep them. We don't sell very many cars. We've traded 1 or 2, and we've sold like maybe 2 or 3 in the past 15 years. We collect our cars. We don't really get rid of them.
Yeah, which I mean, when you're building a bespoke type build into because you guys got some very distinctive cars, right? And so that obviously those are more collectible than anything else. Typically, when we see people bespoke build like you guys do, there's no resale in mind that they have, planned at the beginning, right?
It's to our passion, or that whether it's a purple car or it's got a purple interior, or whether it's red and black that that some of the cars that I like, and whatever it may be. But purple, is the primary common denominator today in everything that we do. And
If not, we'll paint it. We have artisans who help us do that.
That's true. That's true.
we did. Our Tesla truck is not silver.
Tesla truck. I mean, we are all over the place.
The Cyber
Lamborghini-
Beast.
Yeah.
Y'all
Well, it
have-
was a fast car,
Right.
right? It's for 7,000 pounds for that particular truck. It is a fast
No, it
truck.
is.
Yeah.
But it's a matte black down to a matte purple, and so it has some purple accents to it.
Yeah.
Is that more off road, or did you? I don't know.
Oh no, it pretty much stays in the garage because it's electric.
And if I remember correctly, you have a separate location just for the electric cars, right? You were were you still gonna do that?
So that's what we're doing, and it's not that we're afraid something's going to happen, but there's always the potential.
And
right?
you've got
That-
classics like this that
we would hate for anything unfortunate to happen. So we may or may not keep them separate, but we do have a maintenance area that's in the back that'll be for whether it's oil changes, a tire, something you just need to go. We have a car wash area that's going to be in there, and so forth. That we have a fireproof door that goes down that
that's what you're telling
separates
me.
that part of the garage from the rest of the garage.
I mean, it's only you just should, right? Just because. I mean, there's
We shouldn't have to fear, of it. I don't know that there's a true fear. I think it's a media fear.
Right.
Is
Yeah.
what it is. If you've had 4 that happened, but my gosh, it made huge news media. Then all of a sudden,
Right.
oh my God, they're all catching on fire.
Yeah.
We don't want anything like that to happen.
right. If you've got the means, just be cautious and
Yeah.
protect yourself for sure.
Better be safe than sorry.
Yeah.
Right.
So what is so I know that there aren't just cars in your collections. What's your most unique piece outside of the cars?
Well, we have.
Another surprise.
Of course.
We have another surprise.
Wait, which one?
I know.
I might,
not gonna
I
speak
might find
first
out
right
about
now.
here, yeah.
He's like,
Live
wait,
right
might find
now.
out something else.
Which
here.
one are you aware of? Is the question.
That's what I'm aware of. Yeah. Tractors. I'm like, tractor. Okay. We need tractor.
we have a 1963 Lamborghini 2R tractor, which 63 is the iconic year that Ferruccio Lamborghini started Lamborghini. His first car didn't come out until 64, but 1963 was the iconic year that he started. And so I have a 1963 Lamborghini 2R tractor that we're aware of. It's the only one that's in the United States.
Wow.
Which is really cool. If there's another one out there, somebody let me know because I tell the story. And somebody told us one day what was the
Yeah,
thing?
don't let facts get in the way of a good
Yeah.
So there we go. And then most recently, she wasn't supposed to know about it yet, but she walked in after I had a 1972 Lamborghini R365 tractor that I had bought, and I bought it just because it was a 1972 tractor.
Oh my God.
And there are only that I can find in the U.S. 4 in the United
cow.
States. So there's the coolness about that.
Yeah.
And then we switch gears and we have 2 of the 3 Lamborghini Ducati motorcycles. So Lamborghini and Ducati came together and they did a special edition motorcycle in 21 and 23. In 21, they did 630 of this motorcycle.
Wow.
And I've got one of those. And then in 23, they did 630 of another bike, and then they did 63 special edition bikes. And so now I have one of each of those. I don't have the special edition bike, but I have the regular bike. And now they're doing a 25. and I've got one of the 63 editions. I may also have one of the regular editions also. So we will have 4 Lamborghini Ducati motorcycles.
Wow, I read about that. So correct me if I'm wrong. Isn't there a certain portion of those motorcycles that were built to match the cars, like they were built in tandem with cars?
Right. So the 63, so the 23, the 2023 version, the 21 was just straight 630 bikes.
Okay.
The 23 was 630 of the standard bike, and then 63 special editions where you got selected. If you had bought so many cars with Lamborghini, you bought so many Ducatis with Ducati, the numbers point system, however it may be, then the numbers align. And those 63, if you also had an STO, then they custom matched that 63 edition bike to your STO.
Got it. Okay.
But you got to pick whether it was the forks, whether it was the seat was different, whatever, the paint scheme, how the colors are. You got to pick all of those things. So now for the 25 edition, they're doing a Revuelto edition.
Right.
And so we get to match the 63 special edition bike for 25 with our Lamborghini Revuelto.
Nice.
And we still get excited when we get asked to do these things. Like,
It's cool.
I mean, it's fun.
But it creates stories.
Yeah.
It does. It creates stories. And we're able to tell the story. So it takes me about a good 20, 25 minutes to give. We have about 12 or 14 cars that we have just at our office in the warehouse in the back. It takes about a good 20 to 30 minutes to give somebody that little tour and talk about the cars that are back there because they all have a story.
Right.
People ask us all the time, what's your favorite car? Man, that's such a tough thing to talk about because they all have something out of the 26 or 28 cars, whatever it is we have, they all have something very special about them.
Right. Something that resonated with you for that.
Really so much.
So I'm going to jump to another car question. So I know you've got, I know of one inbound car that you've got that was special ordered, and I would love for y'all to talk about that and what you're excited about that car. But any other cool things you've got come into the collection that you can share on top of that?
Not that we can share.
One? Okay.
I was going to say,
Well,
lower
then.
the NDA for one of them, but we can talk about the one we can talk about, right?
Yeah,
we
can.
NDA for that, right?
No,
Okay, all right.
we're so we do have one of the new ZR1s, the Corvette C8 ZR1 that's on order, thanks to our amazing friends at Fertitta Chevrolet. And they're the guys out at Chevy dealership at Fertitta Chevrolet actually had a custom car cover made for us. I understand the car cover's here, just the car's not here yet. So we're waiting on that. Yeah. And it's going to be purple.
Yes.
And you're doing the
Beautiful.
Kentucky delivery, right?
We
You're
hope so,
going.
yeah.
Okay.
I'd love to
we're
do
going to do the factory delivery at the Bowling, Kentucky, right?
I think, yeah.
It's where that is, and so we're really excited about that car. That car is that's the biggest bang for your buck in a car that's out there today. I mean, I truly really think it is. I just got my jorts in the other day, and I already have some tube socks, and so now I need to buy the New Balance shoes, and I think I might have a trucker hat and some aviators. I might have all that.
Do you have the folding chair?
You have to have the folding chair.
Yeah, the folding chair too.
Yes. But when the jorts came
Not
in,
that there's a stereotype.
No
with Chevy.
stereotype
when
at all.
the jorts came in, that was the best.
That's awesome. We're gonna have to do a video of the Jordan.
Oh, yes.
I'll probably wear them to Kentucky. I brought like 3 pair because you got to fit in with these guys, right?
That's awesome. No, I can't wait for that car to see it. And I know that, it continues to break records.
Oh my gosh.
On a daily, weekly basis. Tracks and speeds and
1,064 horsepower, twin turbo, V8. Just it's a beast. It's an absolute beast. And now, I'm on the list. I'm hoping I'm really high on the list for the ZR1X. That's the next one. That's the hybrid 1,250 horsepower.
yeah.
It's going to be insane.
Absolute monster.
Yeah.
for the most affordable price of any supercar that's out there. Truly.
It's crazy. And of course, the ZR one that you've got coming is a record breaker. I can't imagine what this next one's going to
Every track record in the U.S. It's beat.
Right.
I mean, handedly beat.
Yeah.
Handedly beat.
Like, it's amazing what they've pulled off, for sure. For sure.
Well, we've enjoyed you guys sitting with us, and I mean, I think we could talk forever. I think
Of course.
it goes really easily with us. But before we finish, since we have two of you,
I know.
We want to have a little fun
fire off. Yeah.
Oh,
and do some rapid questions.
Yeah.
did I get that on the stone?
Yeah.
You're like, wait, no, these are the best ones, though.
And anybody
copy
can
my
answer.
Yes.
But I'm just going to go through them quickly, and you just give me some
Yeah.
answers. All right. Who's a better driver?
Bill.
Most expensive impulse buy, car or otherwise?
Most expensive?
Impulse buy.
I don't know. I don't know if impulse is, because when the Revolto came out, it's a near $800,000 car, and it was yes, we were going to buy it, but it wasn't. I went out and got it. Now the Ferrari was the first thing
Sounds like the biggest impulse.
That was probably the first thing that was, wow, that's an impulse, and let me go buy it.
Yeah. Well, there you go. All right.
The first Ferrari.
So in our carriage house, what would be our soundtrack? Classic rock, jazz, EDM, anything?
Classic rock.
All right.
Or Christian.
Oh, Christian rock. Yes, of course.
Yeah.
All right. Manual or automatic?
Now that's a very difficult thing to answer because the automatic manual of the paddle shifts today, they're manuals, but they're more automatic. But look, we don't have time for that 3 pedals and the gear shift and your Starbucks and your phone and everything you got going on. So we really don't have time. Although I drove that car for about 150 miles one weekend, all weekend I drove it. Actually, it was almost 200 miles. And I wildly enjoyed being in that car, analog gauges, stick shift. You're not worrying about being on your phone.
Yeah.
It's all the driver and the car.
You feel
And
it.
that car is absolutely amazing. I wouldn't want to drive it every day, right? But now, and then on the performance side, again, it's kind of like asking, what's your favorite car? On the performance side, there's nothing that beats my Revolto. I mean, it's a rocket. It's just an amazing, truly amazing car.
Yeah, I'm manual. I don't want a car telling me I'm going to hit the person in front of me. Of course I am. I take chances that other people don't take. I don't like that it tells me I'm close to a curb. I'm aware. I've got plenty of sensors around me for that. So the other day, the Urus, I forgot it was an automatic mode and about threw me into the steering wheel because it thought it was going to hit something that I knew I would never hit. So I had to move it to sport.
Yeah, I'm with you.
It's manual.
Yeah, I like it.
Well, and the technology, my SF90 Spider, that's the reason that I got rid of that car. That particular car, you put it in reverse and it starts beeping. Beep,
Right.
beep, beep. And then you take your seatbelt off because you're in your own driveway and you don't need your seatbelt in your own driveway. It's a second beep. Beep, 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 beep. And as I'm backing the car in, the proximity sensor, because I'm getting close to the garage, starts going off. Beep, 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 beep. I'm thinking, my God, I'm going to wreck this thing because it won't shut up. and literally, I got rid, after going for a wonderful 150-mile drive, and I would get home, and it would upset me enough that I'm like, I'm sick. It's kind of like a bad golf game, right? You're like, I'm throwing my clubs. I'm like, I'm done with this. But you go get in the car again.
Right.
I actually got rid of the car because it was the technology of it.
Yeah.
All right. Last question. Favorite road in America. Where would you ship your car to go for a drive right now?
Well, there's so many great places, but probably one of the most beautiful places that I've been that Colleen hasn't been yet is the Pacific Coast Highway. I mean, that is,
I've been in it, but it's been a rental car.
but not in the,
Yeah.
So, I misworded that. So you've been there, but not in a supercar.
Yeah, not
Right.
in a supercar.
And so I had,
Pebble Beach, right?
Well, they need to go to Sonoma with us and do that drive from Sonoma down to Monterey. That's the best.
Coming up in August.
Coming up.
Are y'all going to Pebble Beach?
we had made plans this year too. We've talked about it. We've kind of tossed it around.
Yeah, they keep going back and forth.
We still need to make that decision.
Yes. And we're still
really
talking
day by
about
day
that.
at the castle. Like we just don't know. There's big moments that are happening that you want to be there to
Right.
supervise for, but there may be now that you fixed our transportation there, so that may be a possibility.
Well, Bill and Colleen, thank y'all so much for coming.
Thanks for having us.
Will you share with everybody your Instagrams that you want to share so everybody can follow y'all and just all the cool things?
So it's Ellison Collections, and you can find us on Facebook and Instagram, TikTok, and we've got an incredible media team who follows us around. I mean, you can tell which one's us and which one's them, and they try to capture all the best moments. So you're not wasting a bunch of time on our social media. You get all the good stuff.
There
And
you
then
go.
So that collection is our personal and has a lot of the our personal things, our cars and stuff like that. And then we've got Ellison Castle, that is our castle build, where you can follow that journey. And then Ellison Development for our development company to check out the various communities and the various work that we do in our communities.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you guys for your time.
Thanks
I
for
know you
having
have
us.
busy days. So
Yes.
I appreciate you spending some time with us, and I'll let Diane sign us off.
Yeah, well, thank you everybody for joining us for another episode of My Supercar World. You can subscribe and follow us, My Supercar World, on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Visit mysupercarworld.com for past episodes, and tune in for next time. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
My Supercar World is produced by Post Oak Motor Cars, where opulence reigns supreme in the heart of Texas.